Everybody in this room has this unique opportunity to live out your dream. And the journey that we're about to go on is going to be a hard journey. We're going to be challenged at every turn. The expectations are going to be high, the standards are going to be high, the accountability is going to be high. I make a pledge to you, our staff makes a pledge to you, make a pledge to yourself and to each other. We'll hold ourselves and each other accountable to those standards.
Welcome to the Jason Garrett Show. I'm Mickey Spagnola, filling in for Bill Jones. The head coach is with me, Jason Garrett, and must be feeling pretty good after what you guys had gone through for 3 weeks to finally get that victory.
Yeah, it was a good week for our team. You know, our guys practiced really well. We came back to work on Sunday morning because it was a Thursday night game, and we just had a good week of practice. Guys really locked in and focused on what we needed to do to play well in this game tonight, and it carried through the game. In the early part of this game, it was kind of back and forth. We were trying to find our way, but we started to make some plays. Momentum started to build, and I think at the end of it, we played the right way. A lot of different parts of our team contributed, a lot of different guys, some young guys. It was a total team effort. We played for 60 minutes.
You know, and it's one thing to break a 3-game losing streak and win a game. It's another thing to win 38-14 against the Redskins. That was awfully impressive.
Yeah, and again, the biggest thing we try to focus on is ourselves and playing up to our capabilities. And the guys worked hard this week, and you know, I thought we did a good job throughout this ball game, just continuing to play. A little adversity early on, keep playing. Had some success, keep playing. I think that was the mantra for us coming into this ball game to make sure we did that. The guys responded the right way.
So, what was the difference? You struggled to score even 10 points, and then you score 38. You run for 182 yards. You get touchdowns all different ways. What do you think turned it around?
Again, I think it was a total team effort. Defense did a great job taking the ball away. We had the big punt return by Switzer. That was a big play in this ball game. And then I think more than anything else on the offensive side of the ball, running the ball consistently, controlling the line of scrimmage. Alfred Morris was outstanding. You know, L.C. Collins didn't practice all week. He went through the walkthrough yesterday and said, I'm ready to go. And he played well in this ball game. We controlled the line of scrimmage. We got Alfred going. Though we made some timely plays in the passing game, the touchdown to Witt and the touchdown to Dez, the interference down to the 1-yard line to Dez. Those are all big plays in the ball game. So Dak made some big plays when he needed to. And again, it was a total team effort.
Now, you've been around the organization for quite some time, and Dez's touchdown was a 72nd, which gives him the all-time career record for touchdowns in Cowboys history, broke Bob Hayes' touchdown. And I think people need to let that sink in, the significance of that.
Yeah, if you think about the receiver position in Cowboys history, you know, Bob Hayes, obviously Drew Pearson is a great player. Obviously Michael Irvin during the 90s, and you know, Dez has been that next guy. And you know, from day one, Dez has had the ability to make plays for us, difference-making plays in games. And you know, what's interesting for me is he gets so much attention from opposing defenses. He gets a lot of coverage rolled to him. He always gets the best corner, and you know, time and time again, he continues to make plays. So he and Dak have made a number of plays in their time together. And Dez is just a special player and came up big again tonight.
You know, and it's not just the touchdown. He also might have had another one if it wasn't interference in the end zone, and he set up another touchdown for you.
Yeah, those are huge plays. Those are huge plays in the ball game, and sometimes they go unnoticed. But I thought Dak did a good job finding him when there was isolated coverage. And you know, Dez made the big play for the touchdown, and then the DPI was another one that gave us another opportunity.
Dak get through it okay with his right hand?
Yeah, you know, he had to get an X-ray in the middle of the second quarter, and it was kind of swelled up on him. But you know, if Switzer doesn't return the punt, Cooper Rush is going to go in and play that series. But Dak was able to get back out, and he felt good going. And again, he made some big plays in this game.
Okay, we've got more to come with Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Ford is the best in Texas. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
I was huge force to finally get that one punched in, and then really started to see the machine get going there with the running game, and I thought Al ran really hard, the offensive line. That's a really good front, big and strong in that 3-4, and we were able to kind of just grind it out.
I mean, I feel good. I mean, I can go out there and do it all over again. I know that might be crazy to think, but, man, I prep all the time for stuff like this. The more I do, the better I get. And that's just the type of runner I am. And, I mean, I feel good. We'll see how I feel in 2 days. Usually if I get sore, it's 2 days later, but I really didn't take any shots today. Not anything big that will make me feel like, oh, I might feel that, in a little bit. So, I mean, it's a great day. I mean, I wasn't winded. So, I mean, I'm just super thankful, man. That's all I really can say. So, like I said, I'm thankful I could help my team win today.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show. I'm with David Moore of the Dallas Morning News. And David, we watched the Cowboys lose 3 straight games in a row, and then they come out against the Redskins and it's 38-14. What in the world happened?
Really unexpected given what you've seen from the previous 3 weeks. It took them a while to fight through it, but this was a team that had been outscored in the second half of these 3-game losing streak in the previous 3 games, 72-6. They came out tonight and they showed the team they thought they would be in Ezekiel Elliott's absence. They were the dominant team in the second half, outscored Washington 21-6, and a lot of it had to do with Alfred Morris. I mean, I think that, Alfred Morris and Rod Smith had been effective and efficient in bursts during Ezekiel Elliott's absence, but they weren't setting the tone on the ground the way this team was with Ezekiel Elliott. If you want to, for lack of a better term, I think Ezekiel Elliott gave this team a hammer. I think Morris and Smith had been more of a chisel in these previous 3 games, but tonight Alfred Morris channeled Ezekiel Elliott. 89 of his 124 yards came in the second half, and I thought it was big after Washington came back and scored in the second half in the blink of an eye. They go on a 10-play drive that consumed 6 minutes and 33 seconds, respond with a 1-yard touchdown by Morris. Morris carries the ball 7 of the 10 times on that possession for 41 yards. That's what they do with Elliott. When they have a lead, when they have the chance to milk the clock and put it away in the fourth, they do it, and Alfred Morris allowed them to do that.
And I thought one of the big things was, speaking of the running game, and it's always what I say, they ran the ball in the end zone. I know they were short yards, but they ran it to the goal line and they ran it in the end zone, and that's huge because Zeke, going into this week of games, he was the 3rd leading scorer still in the National Football League,
yeah.
Right? So that tells you the impact he has. I thought the running game really helped him out.
And this team was built to absorb a potential loss of Elliott for a 6-game suspension or whatever the suspension was going to be. And it just hadn't come together the way anyone expected. They really showed in this game, this is what the coaching staff, the players, and the ownership and management thought this team was going to be without Ezekiel Elliott. They thought it was still built to be good enough on the ground where they would have their play action and be able to make selected plays through the air, but not have to have Dak Prescott throw 30 to 35 times a game. He threw 22 in this one. Wasn't his best game. He bruised a hand. That certainly impacted him, but didn't make any mistakes and made big plays when it counted, especially in the second half.
Yeah, and I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that the offensive line was probably as healthy as it has been in these last 4 games after Zeke's out. Really played well. Defense came on. They put pressure on Kirk Cousins. The team, the special teams, got 4 takeaways. I thought that was huge too after the amount of points they gave up.
Yeah, pressure all evening, and you look at it, I think on the year, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I think it's something like, 17 turnovers for the year now. They had 3 in the first game against Washington. They had 4 tonight, so they've had 7 turnovers in the sweep of Washington this year. This defense has been able to dial it up against Washington this season. You saw the pass rush come back tonight, which really hadn't been there in the previous few games, and so that was big for this team. Put Kirk Cousins back on his heels from the start, and the Washington offense just never got untracked all night.
And he actually threw a pass off his heels too. That was pretty darn good, right? How do you do that? And so yeah, that absolutely helped everything out. And the Cowboys now get a little rest before they play again. We'll give you a little rest too.
Yeah, well, this came out. This was 4 games in 19 days,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That's about as tough of a stretch as you can have.
That's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News. We'll be back more with the Jason Garrett Show.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
I'm with Cowboys special teams ace and wide receiver Ryan Switzer, and finally a breakthrough return for you. That's kind of what the Cowboys thought they were going to get when they drafted you. It took a while. How good did it feel?
It felt great. You know, like you said, that's kind of what I was brought here to do, make plays. You know, they don't just throw around return touchdowns in the NFL, so when you get one, you got to cherish it. Really fortunate that, you know, tonight was the night, and you know, hopefully we can continue on that success moving forward.
It was a pretty timely touchdown at the time. Why don't you just take me through what kind of you saw and what you did?
Yeah, he got off a really good punt. He kind of out-kicked his coverage, so I had some time to field it and see the field. And you know, middle of the field kicks, you got a little bit more room, and you know, it was just spaced out. It was spaced out. The guys were on, you know, my 10 guys were on their man, and you know, the one cut up the field, you usually have, you know, some success, and luckily we were able to take it all the way.
Now you had some guys in front of you. You outran about 2, 3, 4 guys, right?
Yeah, you know, it felt good to get in the open field. It's one of my best. It had been a while since I had been in the open field, but yeah, really special moment. You know, happy I could share it with all these guys.
It's the 12th game of your NFL career. How long has it been since you returned one for a touchdown, then going back to college?
It had been a while. The last couple I had were my junior year. I had one my senior year that got called back. I'm glad this one didn't call back, because the first 2 I had in college were called back, but it was a special moment.
When you get in the end zone, do you turn around and look and say, oh, please, no flag?
Tonight I was so ecstatic, and everyone was around me. I didn't really have time to. But there was a gut feeling in me, you know, for some reason that this one stood.
Now this was pretty good timing, because if you don't take it back, well, it was good timing for the Cowboys, but probably not for Cooper Rush, because he would have come in and made his NFL debut.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that until in the second half. A couple of the guys were giving me a hard time, but you got to take them when you can get them, man, and it was a good moment.
And how sweet is this victory for just the entire team after what you guys
have
been through?
I think it's big. A lot of people outside this locker room, pretty much 95% of the population had written us off, and you know, we came in, we had a really hard work week, and I think the character of the locker room showed tonight. I think the leadership showed tonight, and you know, we were due for one. So
this is going to make this kind of 9-day break or 10-day break between games feel a lot better.
Oh, a lot better. It's always better when you win. You put so much work in, you spend so much time, you know, fighting for these wins, and when you get them, they're nice, but when you have some time off, it's better to reflect on a win than a loss.
Okay, appreciate your time very much. Cowboys wide receiver, special teams, return ace, Ryan Switzer.
It wasn't just a pass rush, if you ask me. It was rush and cover. You know, our DBs were doing a great job making him hold the ball. He wasn't able to get it out as quick, and it paid off.
We show up to work every night. Every night we step on the field, it's just, you know, maintaining that for 60 minutes, and that's what we did tonight.
Playing corner, you got to be patient, you know, and I think you just got to take that same approach in life. And obviously, I wish I would have played earlier, but, you know, getting this W, you know, it feels good.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, brought to you by Reliant Energy. We're with the head coach here at AT&T Stadium after a 38-14 victory over the Washington Redskins, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about your defense. The defense has kind of been under the gun second half, giving up a bunch of points, and tonight, boy, they certainly played awfully well.
They sure did, and it starts with stopping the run. We wanted to make sure they couldn't control this football game by running the ball, and I thought we did a good job just playing with good run discipline. We tackled well and never let their run game get started. And then the passing game, I thought we did a good job rushing the quarterback, making his life and his environment uncomfortable. And again, I thought we tackled well in the secondary. When they threw the ball underneath, we rallied, did a good job forcing them to drive the ball, make another third down, make another third down. We had the one drive once we went ahead, I think 24-7, where they got into a 2-minute mode at the early part of the fourth quarter, where they were able to move the ball down the field. But other than that, I thought we played the kind of defense we wanted to play.
You know, one of the things I thought was important, especially with Kirk Cousins, you got pressure on him. He ended up with 4 sacks after he had 1 sack in 3 consecutive games. They were able to get to him, and a lot of times, other than that one drive you talked about, your defensive front got him off the mark.
Yeah, no question. So you're pressuring the quarterback, you're sacking the quarterback, but the byproduct of that is they get in their minds, we got to get the ball out. We got to get the ball out. So all of a sudden they have to play small ball, if you will. They have to throw to the underneath receivers. And again, I thought we did a good job playing good team defense and tackling those guys after the catch.
So you changed up the secondary, and you got your young pups in there. Chidobe Awuzie gets his first NFL start. You move Xavier Woods into the slot on the nickel. You've got Kayvon Frazier coming in on dime packages. You incorporated all these young guys that I think everybody's been waiting to see, and we saw them Thursday night.
Yeah, it was good to see those guys out there. You know, Cheeto has been hampered by the hamstring most of the year, so, you know, health has been an issue for him, but he's been healthy the last couple weeks. We just want to give him a chance out there. And again, I thought he handled it really well. I mean, poised, composed. You know, it's his first real action on defense. And to play corner in the NFL against that pass offense, it's a challenge, but he held up well. Xavier Woods has been a good player for us really all year long. Playing inside of the nickel allowed him to be more, really more productive for us. And the other guy you mentioned, Kayvon Frazier, he's a big physical presence. And we saw that time and time again where he came up and he made some plays in the running game where he's knocking the runner backwards, made some plays in space in the passing game as well. So each of those guys did a nice job for us.
And then Anthony Brown kind of redeems himself. Now, he was the guy that gave way for Chidobe Awuzie to start, and he gets an interception late in the game.
Yeah, and again, competition is good for your football team. And for us to be able to put some of those young guys out there, see how they respond, and now the veteran guys who had been playing, you know, they have a role too, so they have to respond as well. And he did a good job covering in this game. He made the big interception, made a couple good tackles as well.
So is it going to be good to be able to finally say, we won a game without Sean Lee on the field, because that kind of had been the narrative. You just couldn't win a game with the injured Sean Lee, and your linebackers seem to play well too.
Well, you know, Sean's a great football player, and his impact goes far beyond just the number of tackles that he makes. You know, he's got such a presence on our defense. He's such a natural leader, and he kind of gets everybody lined up, but also, you know, creates some stability on our team. But, you know, the guy that can't be overlooked here is Anthony Hitchens. Incredible production in this ball game. He seemed to make every tackle, sideline to sideline, over and over and over again. So, you know, he's one of those guys who's able to step into that role, provide that leadership, as well as that production.
I kind of got the idea that Sean Lee is getting close. You know, you got 10 days before you play another game. You think maybe by the time the Giants game shows up, he'll be ready to go?
Well, you know, we'll take his situation day by day, but he's chomping at the bit and he's working very hard. So we'll see how he does as we get into our work next week. But you know, nobody wants to get back into action more than Sean Lee does, and he does make a big difference for our team.
Okay, there's more to come on the Jason Garrett Show. Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show. I'm Mickey Spagnola with the Cowboys head coach here. And this is the Unsung Hero of the Game segment, I understand. And it is, we're going to decide it's L.C. Collins after a guy had to fight through an injury all week. You mentioned it earlier. He didn't practice, and he goes out there. It looked like, to me, he played pretty well.
Yeah, you know, really, really proud of L.C. L.C.'s a good football player, and you know, he plays the game the right way. And we had some concerns about him coming into this ball game. Was not able to practice on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. The significant practice leading up to the ball game, but all along he had this mindset mentality as coach, I'm playing in this game. We felt good about Byron Bell playing that right tackle spot, but for LC to be able to play and play the whole game and play as well as he did and provide that physical presence for us, it gave us a big lift. We ran the ball really well in this ball game, and he was a big part of it.
Yeah, a lot of heart, I thought, on his part, because everybody knows when you got a little back ailment, it's not easy to go out there and push against 280, 300-pound guys, and it looked like he did well. You ran the ball to the right side quite well, it looked like.
Yeah, and it's inspirational to his teammates. When you demonstrate that fight, that commitment, and that fight time and time again to battle through an injury like that, it's big time. And you know, he played well in this ball game, but he showed what he was all about, and that was big for our team.
So L.C. Collins, the unsung hero of the game. Jason, thanks for stopping by. Bill Jones will be back next week, and we'll have another edition of the Jason Garrett Show.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Susan G. Komen, reminding you that early detection saves lives. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass, You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.